What's up, everybody? This is Rob Wilds.
And this is Chris Casanova.
And hey, if you're enjoying WrestleShoot, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, man. You don't got to smash it. Just press it.
We can't do this without you.
That's right. So please join the WrestleShoot family by clicking that like and subscribe. Congratulations! You have found WrestleShoot. Hosted by the Wild Thing Rob Wilds and the ladies' man Chris Casanova. Combined, we have 40 years of wrestling experience, and we're here to share those experiences, stories, and knowledge with you over the podcast airwaves. We'll be joined by friends of ours from time to time to share their stories and experiences with you as well. So climb aboard the crazy train we call WrestleShoot. We know how to do it, and we do it real well. All right. Welcome to episode number 5 of WrestleShoot Radio. I am your host, Rob Wilds, joined, of course, by my co-host, the lovely and talented, my hetero life mate, Chris Casanova. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? We made it to Cinco episode.
Episode Cinco. Episode D Cinco?
Yeah, D-Y Cinco? Yeah, D-Y Cinco? I don't know. Cinco. We'll go with Cinco. Yeah.
How about number 5? And today,
sounds good to me.
Today, boys and girls out there in podcast land, we bring to you our buddy, the great, the powerful, the legendary Preston Steele. What's up, brother?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me on the show. Sure appreciate it, guys.
We love having
Happy
you
to
on.
be here.
Haven't seen you
Absolutely.
since we did that event in Pittsburgh a few years ago. How's everything going?
Well, it's been going. I had to retire from wrestling last year after 30 years in the business. Had that hip replacement that a lot of the guys go through, and it's pretty much career ending once you go through that. But man, I'll tell you, it was a great run, and I miss it. I really miss it every day.
It's I always call it like that cack worm in your computer. You just never quite get rid of it.
No, it's in the blood. When you hear people saying that this is definitely in the blood, whether it's a job or something you really like doing, this is truly was in the blood. I mean,
it's a sickness.
Yeah. Well, in spite of all the injuries, I have 6 screws and a plate in my left ankle. I did that on TV. It's really something.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I'll always remember because it's in me still, the plate, but I'll remember because I was working against Ken Jugan, Lord Zoltan. You may have heard of him, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And it was for a TV taping, and they zoomed in on my face just as I broke my ankle, and I said, "Oh, F, I broke my ankle." I was really embarrassed after that. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, and I had no idea they were zooming in, but yeah, and I got dropped on my head. I got 4 herniated discs in my neck. I was paralyzed for 7 hours, my whole right side. Everything came back, but my right pinky, I can't feel anything. But they're telling me that, your injuries like that, your nerves grow back like a centimeter a year. So I figure on like 90, that'd be the only thing I'm feeling is my little finger. So, yeah, separated shoulder. I was doing the benefit for this kid who had a heart. Students, guys from the area, they came in and really helped out. But clothesline, took it all the way to the mat, and I popped my shoulder out.
Here, right?
Yeah,
there we go. I was losing you there for a second.
Okay, so but yeah, I was talking about I popped my shoulder out. I separated shoulder. I never did get it fixed, but that was during a match, and I actually had to wrestle twice that night. Wrestle early on. That's when I did it. So I finished that match, and then I put on my doink gear, and
yes.
came back at the end of the night and only wrestled with one arm. So it was, that was quite a story there because I felt that I felt I was obligated because this kid was depending on us to raise him money, and he was going to have. It was a lot bigger than us. It was a lot bigger than my injury. So.
Sure, it took Preston over your injury. You didn't think about your injury. You just kind of said, "I have to do this."
I have to do.
Yep. Well, real quick here, before we get too deep into the meat potatoes of this, Preston, we're going to have to do a staple thing that we do every show. But real quick, I noticed you said OF. On WrestleShoot, if you want to drop a fuck, that's okay. You can do that. We only have one rule on here. Only one rule, and that is...
Don't pull any punches.
That's right.
Hold on. What?
All right.
Oh, you're going to make me do it again, aren't you, you son of a bitch?
Yeah,
Don't pull any punches.
All right. Okay. Make sure I heard it right.
Thank you.
Yay.
So, we're going to do our staple again this week. We do it every week, and we call it...
Asshole of the Week.
That's right, Asshole of the Week. And Mr. Casanova, I believe you're going to be the front runner on this one, so what do we got?
Well, feel free to jump in any time, but this week's asshole of the week is Matt Riddle.
You damn right it's Matt Riddle.
Yeah, so I guess this story came out sometime last year, and I guess he sexually assaulted a female wrestler, Candy Cartwright. And I guess it was during the van ride. They're riding their van, and with three other wrestlers who had fallen asleep, supposedly. Matt asked. Basically, she turned him down, and he wasn't having anything on it. He put his hands around her neck and choked her out.
And said, "What if I make you?"
Yes, make you.
Piece of shit.
And yeah, and it's never okay to put your hands on a woman. It never is in any circumstance.
I love putting my hands on a woman. What are you talking about?
Well, in a negative way.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to be funny.
I sure said negative, but
no, I get it. I was trying to make a joke and I failed. My bad.
No,
oh,
it was actually good. I didn't catch on to it, but
Preston, we were talking about this last week with Alberto Del Rapist. Being a wrestler, none of us ever had a hard time getting laid, right? So what is the deal with these dudes going crazy and raping women nowadays?
Well, I don't have an answer for you, but I can tell you this. It seemed like, to me, that in the Fed and a lot of the other bigger federations, it seemed like they would have people along that greatest talent you ever see. But boy, oh boy, they sure got in trouble, and they always protected them, took care of them. They knew things like this were happening, but they either chose to ignore or covered for them or did something. I mean, you can go through the whole list of people. I'm sure you can think of names that had either drug problems or had gotten in trouble, done robberies, burglaries, rapes, things along that line. And you see them getting a big push, and then guys who tried to keep squeaky clean, just kind of pushed off to the wayside. I never understood that.
Anyway, Chris, shall we move forward? We have anything else on this Matt Riddle thing?
Yeah, so basically, again, what Preston just said, so basically the ones that are squeaky clean that are basically following the rules always got pushed aside. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Chris, that's really how it was for us when we was running around in the scenes. I mean, there were these phenomenal talent like Tommy Dreamer, for instance, who maybe should have picked a better name, but the kid was a great talent. He was a youth pastor, and everywhere he went, people were just jobbing him, and he never minded. And you and I never minded jobbing either, but it was a religious thing with him until we started booking him. Then we started putting belts on the kid because he was really good.
Yeah.
Here's a perfect example. He was a good guy. He really was. I wrestled with him years ago when he first started out. And, he was one of the respectful guys. He'd come in, "Hello, sir, how are you?" Introduced himself, introduced himself to the boys in the locker room.
Yeah.
Really, really a nice guy, and never argued. You had the prima donnas that I'm not doing a job for him, or I'm not going to do this, or no, I'm not going to let him, or I got to get my shit in. Right? You've heard that before, right? I got to get my shit in.
Right.
Not him. He wanted to get the match over, and great guy. Great guy.
Yeah. Very, I guess, not selfish at all.
No, not at all.
I'll tell you what, though, boy, he threw that spinning heel kick like you owed him money. Like he was mad at you, boy. He would hit that thing stiff every damn time. It's like, goddamn, do I owe you rent? Calm down, brother.
But yeah, so anyhow, she came forward a few years later. She was obviously scared or what, or it definitely was, pushed under the rug. Like Preston was mentioning, and so this is now this is all coming, all of a sudden this is coming out now. So yeah, he's 2 weeks in a row. We've had two sexual predators. Yeah, so you are definitely the asshole of the week, Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle. Congratulations. He is going into the pool come January for Asshole of the Year. Although my money is still on our current Asshole of the Quarter, Alberto Del Rapist.
I think he's still number one, and I think he's number one still.
Yeah, he's definitely. I unless somebody goes out and like kills a family of 4 because they didn't give him the kind of pop he wanted at the show. Say for something like that happening, I really think Alberto is going to win Asshole of the Year.
I'm willing to put $100 on it. Let's put those odds. I don't think anybody's going to surpass them.
$100, damn brother, Chris Casanova coming in hot, easy.
Yeah. I think the odds are in my favor.
Yeah, I'd say so. So now we got done with that little piece of business. Let's just move on to bullshitting with the boys.
Absolutely.
Ball's on you, Preston. You got anything fun you want to talk about? You come from Dominic DeNucci, and I was always a big fan of his, and I was trained by Paul DeMarco. Mm-hmm. So every now and again, we would all sit around and watch, some of Paul's old matches with Alex Knight or that douchebag Mr. Mexico or the Funks. And the Dominic, he would watch the Dominic. We don't like Mr. Mexico. That guy's a piece of garbage. Let me tell you real quick. This Mr. Mexico jagoff, he books me and Chris to do this new Border Patrol tag team gimmick we're going to do. And we are in the thick immigrant Mexican part of Austin, Texas. And he starts going, I don't know. I kind of see you guys as a face. What? You see a Border Patrol as a face? You think they're going to pop for us? God damn.
Well, did you say what?
Yeah.
That was like, you're like, what?
I was scratching my head. I was waiting for the second part of the rib, but it never came. It was just, we're going to try and get you guys over his face. Well, why don't you just kick us in the balls and call us Susan? No, we're not doing that.
Agree to disagree.
Well, that's the day that our association with him stopped, when he was like, oh, you guys are fired. Oh, really? We're fired from your shows where you draw 25 people and half of them are comped? We're doing this for free for you to help you out, you jerk off. You can't fire us.
He's probably one of those promoters, too, that said, hey, if you work for me, you can't work for anybody else. Shut up. Shut up.
God, I hate
you
that.
You run 2 shows a whole year. You have 25 people show up, and you're going to tell me I can't go make a living or the other boys can't go out?
Right.
I did pretty well in the independents. I really did. I ran a lot of shows. I used a telemarketing company, and, I had a really nice run where I actually could say I made a lot of money for probably about a 10-year stretch, and then things start going a little bit different and stuff, but I did well. I did really well, and I'm not, trying to make anyone feel bad. It's just that I was fortunate at a good time. I came in right at the tail end, when wrestling was really starting to come up, and people were, the indies were still good before the territories and cable came in and kind of ruined everything. The territories were good, and they started taking them away, and but it was a lot of fun. But past 10 years, you go around the Pittsburgh area, you go around even Cleveland, even West Virginia, you had guys saying, well, if you work for him, or you got to work just for me. Or really, are you going to guarantee me some money for the rest of the year?
Yeah, right.
I mean, how can you do that for somebody? And I never understood that. There's plenty of work for everybody.
That's really exactly what Chris used to tell people back in California. They'd be like, oh, well, we're going to book you, but you can't go work, not for anybody, but you can't go work for these 3 promoters if you're going to work for me. And Chris would be like, oh, cool, so where's our contract?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Like, give us WB contract here, or what? I mean, guaranteed money? I mean, what it is? I mean, it's like independent wrestling. I mean, so, never got that.
And we would just tell those guys to go jump. We'd go work for the next guy they didn't want us to work for, and yet, lo and behold, 2 months later, they're calling us back. Go figure.
That's right. Because no one else wanted to work for them and stuff, and they knew that you were good workers, so they had to keep the good workers. You know, you got to keep trying to get them back because you're the ones drawing the crowd. You know, and it's not your fault that they put up a handful of posters and didn't do any TV or radio or telemarketing or anything. It's not your fault that people didn't know you were coming. I mean, you know, you start broadcasting these things, and if you do the right publicity, you're going to have, you know, I was running 12 to 1,500 people on an indie show.
Nice.
I mean, I'm sure you know Hank Hudson. You heard of him, the announcer.
Yep.
From the Pittsburgh area. I mean, I'd bring him in, and he kept track. He would have the whole card, and he would keep all the results and everything. He posts them on online periodically, and so it's nice to relive some of those old shows that I never said. I mean, when I was running every other month, or you know, sometimes running the big county fairs, and I bring in all like the Bushwhackers and Greg Valentine and. You know, just a bunch of names, Demolition Axe, Kamala, Luscious Johnny, Iron Sheik, man, me and him had a thing we're going for a whole year. We were wrestling probably 5 or 6 times a month and dropping the belt back and forth.
Nice.
So, I mean, it was a lot of fun and people were coming, you know, and then, you know, things changed. I can't really pinpoint what happened. But I can tell you about when it happened. It was right around 98, 99 when things started to change. And it's a shame. I mean, I'm sure you guys ran into it where, you know, like my son, he's into wrestling now too. He wrestles under the name of Mr. Thriller, Johnny Mercury. And I tell him about when I started. I mean, the least I ever made was like $150 or $200 a night. And, you know, these guys now are either doing it for free or $5, $10. I mean, are you out of your mind?
You know, and here's $5 and a 6-pack of Coke.
Yeah, and it's, you know, because I want to get my shit in. You know, I got to get my shit in. And you look out there, and they sold tickets to just their family, and that's out there, and it's like, I don't get it. And I feel bad for the younger people just starting out because they don't know what it was like to make actual money doing something you love. Now it's like you're doing something you love, but for the next week, you're really going to be hurt, you know, or maybe never walk again or break something and you don't even have insurance because this is the way things are right now. And I do feel bad. I'm not criticizing. I genuinely feel bad because there's so much talent out there now that are doing things that I didn't do 20 or 30 years ago. It was a different style. It was old school. I'm old school, you know, and we can make the crowd pop and not have to jump off the top ropes, not once, you know, and but it takes a lot to learn how to do that, you know, with the crowd psychology and getting them up out of their seats and learning how to, you know, you hear wrestlers say, "Oh, you got to tell a story. It's like a book." Well, it's true. It's true. But a lot of the people that are telling you this, guys, they don't know how to write the book. They don't know how to write the book. You know?
Yeah.
I learned from some of the best, and you know, I wasn't the greatest, but I'll tell you, I really enjoyed it, and I think that you know, the fans enjoyed it, and I kept that all into perspective. It was something that, my God, can you imagine getting up every day, or at least every weekend? Maybe, you know, I got to go to Australia, Italy, Germany, France, England, Denmark, Sweden. You know, I got to travel. A little guy from Girard, Ohio. That's where I'm originally from. I was an orphan. You know, my parents died when I was young, and I could have been anything. I could have been a drug dealer, could have been a murderer, a thief. You know, I'm proud of where I came from and how I did things. And so I appreciate all that and the opportunities I had. It's been a wonderful career, honestly. It really has.
And then you got to start working the Doit gimmick, and man, you know, me and Chris were trying to get some kind of a deal brokered with WWE to lease the trademark for Doink, and they were just, hell no, they weren't hearing it from us.
No, it was very difficult and stuff, and you know, people had but they booked me for different tours and stuff overseas, and you know, with their blessing and so forth. So it was nice. It was nice. They never bothered me. They helped me out along the way, asked me to fill in a couple of times, so it was nice.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun doing that too.
Well,
honestly, I was the comic one. I was the comic doing. I had a lot. I think I had more fun than the fans did, honestly.
Well, I mean, you looked like you were having a blast doing Doink at that show we did, although we didn't draw but beans. That was a rough night. But yeah, you popped. You made the few people that were there sound like there was 100 people there.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. That's old school stuff, you know?
That's right.
We just did some comedy things, and it's all about the timing. And when you can get the people up, you start getting the sympathy, you bring them up, bring them down, bring them up, bring them down. And it's like, oh, here we go. And there's the finish. And they pop. And that's what it's about. And, you know, one of the hardest things, guys, is working in front of a small crowd.
Sure.
It really is. It's when you have all these people, and it's so easy because, you know, they're screaming like, you know, I can remember this one time, if I can tell you this one story, I was in Italy, and it was me and Shane Douglas. We were the Italian TV tag team champions, right? And so we're going to wrestle in Rome, and we're going to wrestle against, maybe you heard of this guy, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, you know, we all trained together at Dominic DeNucci's camp. And so we had another guy there, Dirty Dick Flanagan. So when Shane and I came out, we had all white on, and we had Italian flags on our shirts, waving Italian flags, and 25,000 people. Guys, I got chills thinking about it because they were screaming so loud. They go, "Hey, Preston Steele, my bambino, I love her. That's my baby. I love her. Yeah, I'm gonna root for you. I hope you slam that son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch."
So we come out and we're waving our flags, and then Mick Foley comes out with his partner Dirty Dick Flanagan, and they're all dressed in black. Now, see, you got to understand, when we landed in Rome at the airport, they have all the polizei there with the machine guns and dogs, and they were all trained on Mick as he's walking through. And all of us, we watched Bad News Browns, Antonio Inoki. We walked behind him. He's like, "Where are you guys going?" We're like, "You just keep on walking, man. You just keep on walking." So
attract that attention away.
That's right. So they come out, and you can hear a pin drop, guys. It is louder right now than it was in that stadium. And you could hear a pin drop, and they start walking, their music's playing, they walk to the ring, they get there, and everyone's just looking at them. They're like in awe. And all of a sudden they pull out this crumpled Italian flag. It's maybe 2 feet long, right? And they start looking around, and they start waving it in the air, and people are going, "Oh, molto bene, oh." You know, and they're clapping their hands, and all of a sudden they start shining their boots with it. Oh my God, listen to this. They start throwing rocks at us. Lira was the money at the time. They were throwing tomatoes at us. So when we won, they knocked the barriers down, and most of the people who are there are pretty small, shorter anyway. And, you know, I'm 270 pounds, and I'm thinking they picked me up. They got me over their head. They're carrying me and Shane back to the locker room. And I'm thinking, dear God, please don't drop us, man. They're going to trample us and kill us, you know. And so we get back, and here Mick and Dick, they both end up getting arrested. The promoters had to pay $800 a piece to get them out of jail for defacing their flag.
Yeah.
No shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't play around. Yeah, you don't play around in other countries. But Dominic was the big hero over there, and I remember them saying, and he worked against Bad News Brown, and he juiced, right? And so after the match, I remember the next day in the newspaper, it was that Dominic took carefully concealed tomato paste out of one of the turnbuckles and spread it all over his head.
God. Tomato paste?
Tomato paste, yeah. Somehow it was tomato paste. It wasn't blood. It was tomato paste. And like Don was saying, look, I have scars. Look at the scars in my fucking head, you asshole.
I remember sitting with in Vegas. I was at a blackjack table with Abdullah, And some fan walked up to him and said, "Hey, all that time you bleed out there, is that real blood?" And he just stared at this guy with this you are dumber than stupid look on his face. And he picked up one of his chips off the blackjack table and stuck it in one of his scars, and it stayed. I was like, "Damn, Abby, how many of them silver dollars you got now?" He goes, "I don't know, about 15. Yeah, all right.
Yes, it's fake, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's all just... God, I swear, I'm one of those old school guys that the F word just bugs me so much. I'm like, you know what? It's a work, you dick. Don't sit in the crowd and look at what we're doing and say it's all fake. 'Cause I'll drag your ass in the ring. I've done it before.
Yeah, yeah. It's people don't understand. I mean, it's an art. These are the best athletes in the world. You know, you guys are. You have to be. You have to be in the best shape to take those bumps. You know, people just, it's padding. There's a spring underneath there. Bullshit. There's no spring underneath there.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Back in the old days, there was a spring right in the middle. One of those big, huge, triaxle shock absorber springs. And that was just so the ring didn't break.
Well, when I wrestled in Italy, they had sawhorses underneath it.
Oh, my
the whole
God.
place, it felt like we're hitting on concrete.
A wood deck, yeah.
Honest to God. We were so sore for weeks, not just the next day, for weeks, all of us, for taking bumps. And we busted our ass. You know, we're getting paid really good money to go over there. They were taking care of us, they're taking us around, feeding us, getting us hotels, all that. And, we felt, hey, we're going to give you a good show, and we did. And, man, we paid for it. We paid for it, but I'd do it all again. I really would.
There was this guy in California that me and Chris went out and worked for, and I had a different tag team partner at the time, and he was working with this guy, and we were going to have ourselves a tag team tornado title match with those other. We had a couple other.
Ring?
No, that was he brought in a boxing ring.
That's right. Boxing ring. Okay.
So I go out there and I hit that ring before they let the marks in, and I take a bump, boom, got up. Jesus, I roll out and Chris goes, "How was it?" I said, "It just got one bump more than it was worth. We're taking this entire match outside." And that's what we did. We're going to make everybody follow us outside. I mean, the cops got involved. The promoters were trying to stop the cops from breaking it up. It was something.
Well, you were very smart. Very smart to pull it out of there, believe me.
Yeah. We're watching these other cats and they're bumping their asses off, and they're in the back, hardly able to walk out the back door and get in their cars. It's like, you guys are dumb.
Yeah.
And the promoter's like, "Oh, I put carpet padding in it." Yeah, you're dumb too.
So it's like, it's bad when you got the midgets telling you, "Oh my God, that ring is stiff." You've maybe heard of Tiger Jackson. His real name is Claude Giroux.
Yep.
I first met him over in Rome when I was wrestling in Europe, and he became Dink, right? And I remember him saying, "Hey, Pete, this ring is stiff," and we just have so much. And speaking of midgets, I wanted to tell you, I have a story for you. It's one of my favorite midget stories ever, if I could share it with you.
I would pay to see midgets do anything, so I'll listen to a story for free.
Me too.
All right. Well, so we were going. It was me. Mick Foley was up in the front with me. Dirty Dick was in the back. And this midget, you may have known him as Little Cheesy, one of Jerry Lawler's boys.
Yeah.
And then he was known as Little Ninja. He did Little Chucky. He did a little bit of everything. He did the midget bowling. He did the midget toss. You'd see him driving around town with a mattress strapped to the top of his car. And oh yeah. So we're driving down. We're going show to show. We're in New Jersey. We're on the New Jersey Turnpike, and you know how you just talk, kind of like we are, just BSing about everything. And all of a sudden, he reaches over the top. I'm driving. He reaches over the top and pow! He chops me in the chest. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, he just laughs. I'm like, "Dude, knock
You
it off."
little bastard.
Get over here.
Yeah, exactly. So we're driving, we're talking. Pretty soon, pow! He pops me. I said, "Listen, you do that again, I'm going to pull over and I'm going to kick your ass right here on the road. I don't give a shit."
Old school.
He laughs. Oh yeah, he laughs. Pretty soon, pow! Pops me again. I go across 4 lanes. We're out on the side of the road and we're fighting. Okay, and at one point, I have him up over my knee and I'm spanking the shit out of him. And the guys are laughing so hard they're crying. Right? So we get in the car. And I'm like, I hope you had enough. So we're driving maybe 5 miles. 2 New Jersey State Troopers pull me over. They said, "Can you get out of the car?" I said, "I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was speeding." They said, "Get out of the car." I said, "What did I do?" They said, "We're not going to tell you again. Get out of the car." So I get out of the car and they're telling me, I said, "What did I do? I'm sorry. This is my car. It's legit, the registration. I didn't do anything." They said, "We got a report that you were beating a small child on the side of the road." I'm like, No. We're professional wrestlers. That's a midget wrestler. I'll show you. Well, this little bastard, he has his window down and he hears everything that's going on. So when I went, "See? He's a wrestler." He puts his hand over his head. He goes, "Why were you hitting me, Daddy? Why?" And I'm like, no.
Little bastard.
Yeah, but they laughed about it. I'm sure they have a little story to tell now themselves. The troopers, they were pretty good about it. Let us go, but yeah, that was a fun time.
Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing how many times the wrestler card has got me and Chris out of tickets. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's poor Ninja. He passed away a couple years ago and stuff. He's a good guy, man. I'll say he actually lived near me in Youngstown. I live in Youngstown now, but he lived in Hubbard, and he actually worked for me when I had my promotion going down there, and he worked for my telemarketing company, and I helped him and his family, and he was a good guy. He really was, and I miss him. I really do.
We actually have Chris Geyer here in about a month after he gets over his hernia surgery is going to appear on the show.
Mini pod.
Yeah, me. I love the POD.
Yep.
Chris, you remember what POD stands for?
I don't.
Pissed off dwarf.
Pissed off dwarf.
Right. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, he's cool, man. Him and his son
dwarf.
are both really awesome.
Yeah, he actually came and worked a couple times for me. I had him go against Little Ninja and stuff, and I just loved all these midget matches, and they kind of got away from them and stuff. But I thought it was always worth it to bring them in. Always worth it to have a good girls match. Honestly, it was a good special attraction. It broke up the night, because you had the women that liked to watch that. Of course, the guys like to watch the women as well. But you had that, and you had the kids, and everybody got a little bit of a chuckle, and it just made it, because I try to run a lot of family oriented shows.
Sure.
So they just blended right in, and it just the compliments from having shows and having the midgets. I mean, I didn't do it; the midgets did it. They were the stars, and they sure did a heck of a job. And I wonder why they don't do it more often now, honestly, because I think it would be a nice little draw. I really do think it would be a nice draw.
Oh,
well,
they
I remember
do
when
draw.
Rob and I were promoting. Remember that, Rob, when you and I were promoting back in California? And we always ran straight indie matches, and I guess a fellow promoter said, "You guys should bring midgets in." And we're like, "Really? Like that?" He goes, I'm telling you, midgets will draw for you. They're a great attraction, and we kind of fought it for a little bit, but when we first did it, man, it was a heck of a draw.
I'll tell you how good of a draw it was.
Really good draw.
2.5 weeks before that or so, we did a show where we had Kevin Nash in the main event, and on the next show, these midgets doubled the draw that Nash brought in.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it.
It was a short sleeve Samson and a terrible Todd Stone.
Yeah. Samson was a good worker. So I don't even know if he's still in the business, is he?
No, he's all wrapped up. He's
done.
Him and Chris Geyer both are wrapped up.
Yeah.
Chris was a really nice guy. Yeah. Yep.
I'll tell you, for anybody who's listening, if you're looking for a reference on who a good midget would be to draw, Pitbull Patterson out there in Phoenix, Arizona, that guy is stellar. He is so good.
Yeah, he's great.
You book.
Todd Stone was good too.
Yeah, Todd Stone was great, but he's retired too. Pitbull's still doing it. You book him with Bulldog Buddy Stone, and you can call it the mini dog fight.
Yeah.
So I've been told around the grapevine there, Mr. Steele, that you do quite the Iron Sheik impression.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I have a couple stories. I'll tell you. So I had one of my friends with his name was Ray Brock, and he was on the sheriff's department, local sheriff's department, and he would go and pick up the guys for me at the airport. So he had picked up the Iron Sheik a couple times before, and so they became kind of friends. They'd gone out and had a few drinks together and stuff. So this one time, we're getting ready. Actually, I was working him at a county fair. And so I sent Ray to go pick him up in Cleveland at the airport. So he picks him up, and they're sitting in the front seat. They're coming back, and Iron Sheik, "Hey, Ray LeBrock, my friend, how are you, you cocksucker? How are you doing, you son of a bitch? You fucking asshole. How are you doing, you bastard?" And he says, "Oh, not bad, Sheik. How are you?" He says, "Not bad." He goes, "Hey, Ray LeBrock, my friend. Maybe you could help Shiki." He says, "What's that, Shiki?" He says, "Well, do you know where Shiki could get some, how you say, grass?" He goes, "Sheik, do you know what I do for a living?" He says, "No, what, Ray LeBrock, my friend, what's your job? What do you do?" He says, "Well, I work at the sheriff's department." He goes, "Oh." He says, "It's not for Shiki, it's for Shiki's friend."
I'm surprised Sheik didn't say, "Well, then you know exactly where to get it."
Yeah. But I bring him to the shows, and we'd have it at this one place called the Holiday Inn Metroplex. They had a real big, like a convention center there, and that's where we're drawing. It was pretty regular, so people, even though we do like fundraisers for police and fire, it might be for out-of-town police department, but people still come. That was the whole idea. You centralize, and you could bring in people from, like, say, Youngstown or Girard or Hubbard, but other people that have already been there, they're going to come too. And so that worked out really good. But there was a bar attached to it. So Shiki would go and he'd have a little bag, a gimmick bag.
Yep.
And he'd go up to the bar and he says, hey, you buy Shiki beer. This is last picture. Me against that jabroni, that faggot Hulk Hogan. I'll put the camel clutch on him. That faggot. Here, I'll give you one picture. You buy Shiki gimmick. And then, of course, they'd buy him a beer and he'd drink it and he'd look around and he said, "Hey, last picture. I have a last picture of me with that faggot jabroni Hulk Hogan. I am the champion. I am the WWF champion. I am the best. I put the camel clutch and I put that faggot. I pin him. You buy Shiki gimmick beer. I give you this picture." They'd give him a beer, and he'd look around. He goes, "Hey, last picture. I have the last picture. This is it. I signed it with the champion's signature, whatever that means." You know, he just keeps doing that. Oh my God!
I'll tell you what, the three guys that I can name that took advantage.
You sound just like him, by the way.
Yeah, that was great. That take advantage of their celebrity the most would be Shiki. Good old MJ, he used to, Marty Jannetty, he loved his celebrity and he used it to the best advantage. But Jimmy Snuka, boy, Snuka. Okay, so me and Chris pick up Snuka from the airport and we jam over it. I think it was Fridays. Was it, Chris? Fridays?
Yeah, I think it was a TGI Fridays, yeah.
So we walk in there and this manager kind of walks up and he's all, "Hey, excuse me, gentlemen. I just want to ask, are you Jimmy Snuka?" And he goes, "Sure, brother. Yeah, lovely." And he's like, "Oh my God, listen, if my cooks in the back could take some pictures with you, then we'll cover your bar tab." He's like, "Oh, what do, brother? You sure about that?" And I said, "Yeah, man, you might want to rethink that one." He's like, No, we can afford it." And boy, Snuka took Polaroids with all those marks, and He ran up a $700. Well, we ran up a $700 bar tab, and the manager came out and just signed off for it. So I'm pulling out some cash, and Snooker's like, "Oh no, brother, you better hang on to that. You're gonna need it." I'm like, "No, we'll at least tip the freaking bartender." And he said, "I give this Mark a picture."
Well, I had him at that Metroplex, and his ankles, his ankles and knees were starting to bother him and stuff, and his ankles particularly. And I said, I said, "Listen, Jimmy," I said, "if you want, you can do a different kind of finish. You don't have to come off the top rope." And he says, "Hey, brother, that's my gimmick. That's what I got to do, brother. I don't mind. I gotta make the people. I gotta make the people pop. You know what I mean, brother? So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, brother."
That very show that we picked up Snuka for. No, it was the time before that we had Snuka, but me and Chris was doing our first time tag teaming ever, and we were gonna work him and Tonga Kid. So as I'm driving driving Jimmy up to the venue, I'm going over kind of like what I would like to see happen in the match. Is he have any ideas? And he goes, "Yeah, brother, you go over tonight." I said, "Let's go over on you." He's like, "Yeah, brother, sure. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. People are
that was good. That was good.
People, I think, are paying to see you beat us." "Nah, brother, they paying to see me. That's it. Who cares who goes over? Here's the thing. You get to beat the Fly, brother, and then we get to come back and beat you, so Snooker get 2 payday." I'm like, "Oh, well, fuck." So we get up to the venue, and we tell Tonga that we're going over tonight, and he starts just getting huffy. He was not happy about it. And Snooker leaned over and said, "You're the one laying down tonight, or I'm going to smack you in your fucking mouth." And Sam's like, "Okay, all right." God, I love Snuka.
Just like a dad, man, scolding his kid.
He did. You're gonna lay down for this kid tonight, or I'm gonna smack you in the fucking mouth. And you look at Sam's face, and he believed it. He got up, got a little pissed off, and stormed away. And he's like, "He's always been like that, brother. He's always been that guy." Well, tonight he's the guy who's laying down.
He's a great guy, Jimmy was.
Yeah, yes, he was.
Oh, then of course he pulled the. Okay, here's the finish. If you got the balls. I'm like, okay. So he tells me the finish, and I said, "You son of a bitch! I just saw you do that same finish 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about? If I got the balls, let's do something different. See if you got balls. Don't make me get a coconut, brother." What a guy! What a guy!
Doesn't matter, brother. Doesn't matter, brother. That was 2 weeks ago, brother. There's new people out there. Yeah, brother.
And then he starts singing. "All we gotta do tonight, brother, is do a little dance and make a little love, and we get down tonight."
Yeah.
TCB, brother. TCB. And then, of course, you got Honky Tonk in the background going, "God damn it, Jimmy, don't lay down for these kids. It's going to fuck up your stock." "I got this, brother. Shut the hell up."
Honky always got something to say.
Always got something to say.
One of the funniest things, I worked against him is in Detroit. There's this casino up there.
Against who? Snuka?
No,
Honky. Yeah.
And
Test of
he
strength.
had done this. He had done this gimmick where this guy paid him extra. They're supposed to smash their guitars together. And the guy missed the guitar and smashed it on his hand and severed.
Oh my God! He told us about that after it happened.
Yeah. So he ends up getting wrapped up. He's got all these stitches, but he still wants to work this show, right? And he said, "But I'm only going to work against Preston." And I'm like, "Oh boy, all right." So, and I was doink. Okay, I was working as doink, and so it was pretty good. It's like 2,200 people there. It was nice. It wasn't my show. It was some promoter up there. It was at the casino. And they sold out. And so there came a point where we were going to run the ropes, and for whatever reason, he fell. He tripped and fell. And as I'm, you're doing the crisscrosses, right?
Yeah.
So I go and I'm running and I'm watching him, and he's running on his knees like a midget. He's just on his knees. He's running to the other side of the ring. I'm like, what do you do? And I just stopped, and I just busted out laughing, and everyone else, and it started. You can hear in the front row, people start laughing all the way to the back. Everyone started laughing really hard and stuff. And then he came back on me, but it was pretty funny. Oh my God, yeah. You know, you make the bet. He is such a professional, man. I truly like him. Wayne's a good man, and I'll tell you a good story about him.
He's a very likable guy, sure.
He is. Oh yeah. And well, I'll tell you what he did, and he'll probably be embarrassed or be mad if you ever heard this, but it's the truth. So I was doing a benefit show for a policeman in my area that got burned in a crash. He had drunk driver. He was on traffic stop, and a drunk driver hit him from behind, and car caught on fire, and he got trapped. But he ended up surviving. So I said, listen, I called him, and I said, look, I'm having this benefit show. And I said, we don't have a lot of money. You know, what can you do for me? I said, we're trying to raise money. And honestly, we raised $32,000 for this guy's family. It was huge. Yes. And, so he says, well, listen, he cut me a break. He came in for like a quarter of what he normally got paid, honestly. And I said, okay, and you're coming in from like the Phoenix area.
Honky actually gave you a break?
Oh, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be amazed at this. And that's why I'm saying he's probably going to be pissed by me saying it, but I have nothing but respect for him. I love him. I mean, when you hear this too, I mean, you'll feel like some pride, a swelling, in your heart about this, because when I said, listen, I said, I just checked. I said, it's like $750 for your airfare. I said, that's probably going to be a little too much. I don't think we'll be able to bring you in. He says, well, Preston, let me tell you. He said, I have some frequent flyer miles. He says, I'm going to pay for my own airline ticket. I shit you not. And the guy came there. He showed up. We got him a hotel. We fed him. He hardly made anything. Honestly, he donated most of the money he made back that night. So you may have heard things like some people don't like him. I love the guy. I have nothing but respect for him. And like I said, you'd probably be mad at me telling this story, but that's what a good person he is. He truly is. And nothing but respect for him. And the family was, oh my God, it was made you feel good. I did a lot of benefit shows for people like that. We did another one in Warren, Ohio, for another policeman who had gone in. There was a house fire, and he had gone in. They were mentally challenged people living there, and he tried to rescue these two, and he got overcome by smoke, and they found him in the house. He was actually covering them, the two older ladies, and he got burned. One passed away, and the other one survived. And he saved their lives. Well, the one's life anyway, but. So, we were able to raise, that one we only raised $30,000 for, but that was, it's wow, to even get involved in something like that, and to be able to do that for someone's family, it was a great feeling. And all those guys that volunteered their time or came in for just some trans money, or, hey, I'll come in and work, can you give me a couple of pizzas for the road? Yeah, we'll do that for you. So it was, those are the things that, you don't talk about too much, because that's not what this is about. But boy, I'll tell you, I've been blessed, and I think that I had to give back. It was an honor and stuff. And those guys that worked all my shows, and we did do the benefits, not all of them were benefits, but when we did do them, you really got to look and thank them, because they didn't have to do it. You know what I mean? And they did it out of the goodness of their hearts, and that's what that's about. So I really,
that is
truly am blessed. I have some great friends.
That is a great story about Honky, and we were pretty good buddies with Honky too. So let me tell you a Honky story real quick. It's a quick one.
All right.
We had Spike Dudley booked to come in for one of our shows, and literally the day before the show, his wife got so sick that she was hospitalized. And Spike called us, and he's like, dude, I'm going to send you the money back, and I've never canceled a booking. And this was the day before, so of course we understood. And I said, all right, let let's bite the bullet. Let's call Honky. Ring Honky's number, and this is how we answered the phone. So, Spike fucked you, didn't he? And I said, no, man, his wife is in the hospital. Yeah, but he's keeping that fucking money, isn't he? No, he's sending it back. And then he gets real quiet, and I'm like, are you still there? And he goes, go ahead and ask. So, well, are you free to come out tomorrow to work the show? And he goes, $750. Son of a bitch, come on, Honky, cut me a break here. Sorry, brother. I told you to book me instead of Spike in the first goddamn place, and you didn't listen to Honky. Nobody listens to Honky, not never. And now it's going to cost you $750. Son of a bitch. So the next day, Honky was there.
Not a penny left.
But nope. the next day, when Honky shows up, I said, okay, Honky, here's what's going to happen. Me and you were going to tag team tonight, but I'm going to switch heel. You know, I'm going to do the no tag and oops, oh, I missed you, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I'm going to swerve you. Yep, okay, whatever. Got my money? Oh, I got your money. And then come the end of the match, when I did the swerve, I came in across the side of his head with not a hard, but a pretty snug flush of the boot. Bink! And he hit the ground and he looked up at me and said, it was worth it. I said, all right. You gotta love that guy.
Did you ever catch any of his when he was doing the comedy tour?
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't see it, but I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, he actually, when he was in Pittsburgh and stuff, he invited me and Kenny Dugan out to see him and brought us backstage and stuff. Really, really had a good time. So he had a pretty good show. Just like Mick Foley did the same thing. He was in Pittsburgh. He was in Youngstown here and invited me to the shows. And actually, the last time he was in Pittsburgh, brought me and Kenny Dugan and Dante DeNucci up on the stage, and we got to tell stories.
Nice.
I told the one about Italy, and there was another one that we had in Disaster Tour '87 when we all went on tour out west with Dominic and stuff. So he was really cool. He let us come up and tell the stories, and crowd popped and everything. It's pretty funny. Good.
Yeah, I saw some of Foley's. I saw some of Honky's. I watched Jake doing his comedy thing, but I'm not sure why he called it comedy. It was just him kind of telling really boring stories. Yeah. And Jake's a funny son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't get Honky started on him.
He broke my goddamn neck. No, he didn't. Shut up. But no, we remember right after that, him getting his tendon sliced open. We had him like a month later, and he still had that thing wrapped up. And he's like, son of a bitch missed, and he hit my hand. He was still pissed. Yeah. But Honky holds a grudge.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, yeah. But loved him. But so I wanted to tell you a Dominic story.
Actually, I'll tell you what, real quick, before you do that one, real quick, we got to pay the bills, got to play a quick spot. So anybody out there in Central Texas who is looking to buy or sell a home, definitely talk to my boy over there at Chris Ward Realty. Check it out. We'll be right back. Are you in the market for a new home in Austin, San Antonio, San Marcos, and the surrounding areas? Have you had bad experiences with realtors who work just hard enough to get that commission? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't your realtor supposed to be looking out for your best interest and getting you the best deal possible? Well, friends, listen up. Chris Ward is that realtor, and I speak from personal experience. He's going to fight to get you into your dream home at your budget. He's always going to be 100% with you, and he'll get the answers to those confusing questions that go along with buying a home. It won't cost you a thing to give him a call and get the ball rolling for you. And sellers, he'll work just as hard for you, protecting you from predator buyers, lowballers, and scam artists. Give him a call at 512-618-5110 or check him out online at chriswardrealestate.net. Again, 512-618-5110, chriswardrealestate.net. Alrighty, and we're back to WrestleShoot with the great and wonderful Preston Doink the Clown Steele, gonna tell us some Dominic DeNucci stories.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys, for having me on the show. I sure appreciate it. Having a lot of fun tonight, reminiscing, and really appreciate. I love listening to your stories. They're great. A lot of fun, and your imitation, your voices are great. Right on.
Lovely, brother. Thank you. Yeah. What do down there?
Oh, brother.
So, this one time, we call it Disaster Tour 87. It was my first tour I ever went on. And we were supposed to go out west. We're going to wrestle 18 times in 21 days. I was supposed to get $5,000. Pretty good, right?
Yeah, not
Just
a bad,
starting out,
not a
your
bad
first tour.
month, yeah.
So there was a guy named Buddy Donovan, was the promoter. He was one of the Moondogs. There was two Moondogs. There was Dominic, DeNucci. Mick Foley was Cactus Jack. There was, I think Mark Curtis went on that one with us. The Blue Cyclone.
Wait a minute, the Blue Cyclone was a real worker?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
His name was Kurt Kaufman. He was one of Dominic's students.
See, I only know the Ray Stevens song.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Well, but no, it's really that's what he did for a long time, and especially going out west, he was popular because cyclones, So,
Yeah.
But so we all met. There was a guy who used to do the Batman gimmick, not Tony Marino, but another guy out of Columbus, because Ohio was a big hotbed of wrestling back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and
sure.
So we all meet down in Columbus, and so there's Buddy Donovan with his truck, and he's pulling the ring, and then we're in this big motorhome. Sleeps like 12 or 14, I don't remember. But we're going to go, so we drive, and we go out to somewhere in North Dakota, South Dakota. So we show up, and there's like 50 people. I'm like, wow, it's a big, big facility. It's like an arena, right? And there's only 50 people there. I'm like, what the hell? So at the end of the show, he gives me $50. So I'm like, okay, $4,950. That's what he owes me.
Right.
So we go to the next show, and same thing, 60 people. He gives me $50. Okay, $4,900 he owes me. So this is going, and there's no one there, and we keep doing it. So about the 7th or 8th day, we are at Yellowstone National Park, and Dominic says, "Hey kid, let's go for a little walk. I want to go see stuff." I'm like, okay. So we're looking, and we come to this hot spring. He says, "Hey kid, what does that mean, a hot spring?" I said, it's hot. He says, "I'm going to touch." I said, "No, there's a sign right there. It says, don't touch it." He says, "I'm going to touch." I said, "Dominic, don't touch it." He said, "I'm going to touch." I said, "Dominic, don't touch it." "Fuck you, I'm going to touch it." He touches it. "God damn son of a bitch, it's hot." I said, "I told you." He said, "Damn son of a bitch." So he pulls his pants down and he starts peeing in this, right? And I'm like, "Dominic, what are you doing?" And then all of a sudden you hear, he says, "Hey, what is that fucking guy over there with that hat and that whistle?"
Oh,
I said, "Well,
shit.
that's a ranger. That's a ranger. And he's blowing his whistle because he's going to come and try to arrest you." He says, "Run, kid." And he takes off running. So, oh my God. So we make it back to the big, the whole, the camper and all that stuff. And so we start driving, and I'm sitting up front with this guy. He was known as the lumberjack at the time. So we're driving, and we're coming down the side of this mountain. And I don't know if you've ever been out that way, but a lot of the mountains don't have guardrails. I mean, there's nothing there. You just have to take it easy going around on your way down. Mm-hmm. Well, so we're in this big motorhome, and all of a sudden he looks at me. We're only going like 35. He looks at me. He says, "Hey, Preston." I said, "What?" He says, "No brakes." I'm like, "What?" He says, "No brakes, look." And he's pumping the brakes all the way to the floor. I'm like, oh my God. I said, "Try to downshift." And he can't downshift. He goes, "Hey, tell everybody to lay on the floor. I'm going to ram it into the side of the mountain." So I yelled at everybody, "Get on the floor, guys. No brakes." Well, Mick Foley has these headphones on. His eyes are closed, and he's just like, wagging his head back and forth to the music. I'm like, Mick. And he looks at me and says, "What?" he pulls one of the earphones away, and he says, "What?" I said, "No brakes. We're just going to crash it into the mountain." He goes, "Woo!" And he dives on the floor, right? So we smash into the side of this mountain, bam, and we all get out. We're okay, and I get out and I start taking pictures. I mean, a lot of damage, and I'm taking pictures, and one of the pictures has a door coming open, and you see Dominic's big nose and a big cigar and like a towel halfway in the air. So then I start taking a couple others, and there's Dominic going across the street. He's got this towel on his shoulder, and like all of a sudden he disappears. I'm like, where did Dominic go? And we go to look over the edge of it, and there he is. He's in a stream. He had shit his pants, and he has pants on. He's cleaning himself. So of course I had to take a picture, right?
Old school Polaroid.
So no, they were actually the old camera with the film in it. But so what happened was we got towed 3 hours to this one town, and they said they couldn't fix it. So they towed us like 6 hours to this other town, and they wanted $1,800 to fix it. And the promoter says, "Guys, I don't have the money to fix this." And they're like, "What? What do you mean? You still owe me like, $4,700. What about these other guys, And he said, "I don't have any money." And we're like, "Oh my God." Well, all night, the moon dogs, you can hear them pounding on the bottom of this thing, tink, 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 crank, crank, making all kinds of noises. So they used their belts and the ropes that they used for their belts. And so they fixed it. In the morning, we decided to go to the next show. But here's the problem. When we go to try to make a right turn, we have to stop. Somebody has to get out, stop traffic. They back it up a little bit, make a little bit of a right turn, stop, back up, more right. And it's finally, oh yeah. And then we go to the show. So finally we decided this is it. We got to go back home. Well, nobody had any money. Me, Dominic, and Mick Foley were the only ones that had money. As soon as anyone got their money, they went out and spent it on booze or whatever, food and stuff. But we were really conservative. So we needed gas. I ended up buying the gas. We got a flat tire, and that's why we call it Disaster Tour, because it truly was. And so coming back, Mick Foley ended up paying for the tire. And then we didn't have any food to eat. So Dominic goes and he buys a couple loaves of bread, buys tuna, mayo, and he was like Jesus. Honest. He got the fish and the bread, and he fed us all, and we were full, And
nice.
So we all got home, and I had change in my pocket. Everyone had. I mean, we didn't make a dime on that. We actually lost money. So, but that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was great camaraderie, and I learned so much then. But it was I'll never forget it. Disaster Tour '87. So.
Well,
this
one is not nearly as awesome as your story, but we had the same kind of situation where me and Chris got booked by this just complete brony who said, "Oh, I got the connections in Vegas. You guys come on out. We do the California Invades Vegas angle at this show.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to get $200 each, and we need you to work twice that night as a tag team." Great. So we rented a car instead of taking one of our cars. We rented a car. We boogied on out there. We got ourselves a room at the MGM, and we're like, this is going to be a vacation, and this $200 each that we're going to make will just pretty much cover the fun of the trip. So we get to this place, and it's this little rundown shit shack that's got a ring with a big-ass bar right through the middle of it. So every bump you take, you feel like you're slipping a disc.
Yeah.
And then we show up, and they go, "Okay, great, guys. We have you in singles matches instead." And I said, "Wait, what?" And now this like 27-foot tall dude walks up to me and goes, "Hey, Rob Wilds, right?" And I looked up and went, "No," and pointed at Chris. That's Rob Wild. And he goes, "Oh, you're funny. No, dude, I really like you. I've seen you work. We're going to have fun tonight." I was like, okay. So now we're there that night at the show, waiting for things to get rolling. It over comes this jabroni guy who was supposed to be the one getting our cash. And he shows up with a hooker. And he goes, "Hey, you guys, they didn't really pay me what they were supposed to pay me." And this was not a hooker. This was like a scraping the bottom of your shoes hooker. This was a nasty street whore.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, I can give you
south side of Vegas, probably."
Yeah, "I'll give you guys a toss with her." And Chris is like, "No, that's fine. You just make sure to have our money by the morning, or we're gonna have a problem." So he vanished.
Wow.
Boom, gone. He went out and did his horrible garbage abortion of a match. And then him and this hooker just straight up split. Now, me and Chris are pissed by this time because we know we're going to get burned. So, we did what any good, responsible professional wrestler would do. We got drunk. And we wake up as they are banging on the door telling us, you guys got to check out. We're like, shit, all right. We run over to the gas station, and there's a carload of the other California wrestlers, and he's in the car with them. So they come walking up to us, and they go, did he give you guys anything? I said, no, but he's gonna. He go, well, what's the plan? The plan is you guys go back and pump your gas, and we're going to pull him over here and have a little private conversation with him, and I hope for your sake you guys don't get involved. And we made that dude empty his pockets onto the ground of the gas station. We made him dump his gimmick bag out. Everything. We scooped every coin that guy had, went over and split it with the other California boys, and we never saw him again. Yeah, he got himself drummed right out of any future bookings anywhere in California after that.
We didn't get our $200, but we got what I don't even know what the number was, but yeah, we got whatever he had.
Well, no, he had like $700 or something. So we paid everybody. We all kind of split it up evenly, but we got like 80 bones out of it.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, I got stiffed a couple of times. There was a time I was working for a promoter down around Cincinnati, and it was Rick Martel was on the show. Greg the Hammer Valentine, Wildfire Tommy Rich, and a couple other people. So it was at the end of the night, he didn't have any money. So these guys kind of shanghaied him. I tagged along, but they were taking him to all his to ATM machines, to his relative's house. He was borrowing money, and then I only got like a quarter of my money. And I told him, look, you take care of these guys. I live in Ohio. I know where you live, so you take care of them because they don't live around here.
And I'll be
he
back.
ended up paying me. He paid me in 2 weeks. He did. So, but that was quite the night. It was like 3:00 in the morning. We're going to friends and relatives' house. He's borrowing $50 here, $100. They talk about embarrassing, but he was scared shitless. He really was.
Should be.
Yeah, and I worked for another guy. I can't remember his name, but they call him Claw. He had like lobster claws for hands. Can't remember. He's like a Nate something, but he owed me like $900, and I had to wrestle twice at 2 different shows. And I came in, and I remember there was a guy doing a Kamala gimmick. It was Kamala Jr. And he stiffed us all, and he ended up, and a couple of guys stole his championship belts and stuff. And I'm like, oh man! But to this day, I mean, I'll never forget him because he's just a piece of work. So.
Oh, we had a guy.
Wow. We had a guy like that.
We had a guy backdoor us all together. He didn't say anything. He didn't apologize. He just ran. So it was me, Warpath, Hustler, and Mustafa Sa'i all go over to this guy's apartment because Mustafa knew where he lived. And I, with the exception of watching Mike Modest kick in somebody's door once to stop a rape, I have never seen a door so violently kicked in. And this promoter, his name is Eddie Davis.
Wow.
He's sitting there staring at us with a look of terror. We all know Stoff is a little bit of a dangerous guy, but boy, he was there for blood. He was pissed because this dude had his entire gate all separated into individual bills, big stack of cash on the table. And there we stand with a pissed off psychotic Staffa, and well, we got our money. Staffa made sure we all got paid.
Well, you guys are very similar. We did the same thing. Like, as soon as someone walked in the door, I already had the money. I always believe that if you're going to run a show, you're the one that's going to make the profit. You're the one that's going to lose, but the guys should never lose. Right. If you promised them a certain amount, that's what they get. Because, if you made $2,000 or like $5,000 on profit on a show, you aren't going to split it. That's the money you made because you went around advertising, did everything because that's your business. So that you use that towards the next show, right? But if you promised the guys, that's what you paid them. So as soon as they walked in the door, I always made sure I had the money ahead of time. And every once they come in, they got an envelope, they signed a waiver, they signed a receipt. Hey, I paid them. And they always got what that was my I've always prided myself on that.
That's what we did with you. You and
yeah,
all the guys.
I know you did.
That
That's why I was bringing it up. That's right. As soon as I walked in the door, you shook my hand and you said, "Here you go, brother."
Brother. Oh, easy does it, brother. Here you go.
But yeah, there's been some great things in the career and stuff, and I do miss it. And I know there's guys that are still in their prime right now. They're missing it because of the COVID and the way things are going right now. You know, it's really hard to even run a show, and it's so risky, and the people aren't going to come out right now. So it's just a shame, and I'm hoping that a lot of people have passed away, and a lot of people have gotten sick, and I just hope that they find a cure, a vaccine, and as soon as possible to help these people, because I'd like to see life get back to normal.
We already have a vaccine. Trust me, it's in the market soon.
So Preston, so you're not, right now, so what are you up to these days? I know you're not in the wrestling business anymore. What are you up to these days?
Well, I was in law enforcement. That was my real job.
Preston the cop.
That's why I did the Sheriff Steele gimmick. I did that. I loved doing it because it was exactly opposite of everything I believed in. And because honestly, in my career as in law enforcement, I never got in trouble. I never got written up, not once. I truly believed it was to serve the community, and not everybody needed to go to jail. People got breaks. That's the way you're supposed to do.
Right.
But so I retired from there. I was on the SWAT team. I was on a dive team. I actually have a master's degree, and I teach at Kent State University.
Oh, wow.
As well. Yeah, I do that. And I also I run a security company, one of the largest security companies in the world. I run out of Cleveland. So I enjoy that. It keeps me busy rather than just sitting at home. But I enjoy keeping that. And then I have along the way I have a couple businesses. I do screen printing. I still have a fundraising company, and so I do some of those things.
Busy.
And I keep busy. Busy.
Sounds like it. But wrestling always be in their heart, man. It's always hard to give it up. It's always there.
Well, let me ask you this. Is
Yeah.
Shane still wrestling?
He would be, but I think he's taken a little hiatus to take care of some things in his personal life.
Right.
So he might come back at some point, but right now he's kind of secluded himself, and he's trying to straighten his life out. So he's a good guy, man. I learned a lot from him. Even though we went through the class together with Dominic and the training and all that, but he's a good guy. There's another guy would come in and help me out and stuff if we were doing something for a good cause. Good guy. And so I did get the message to him. So hopefully when things straighten out, he'll be getting in touch.
I would just like to go see him work again.
Sure. Yeah. I think it's going to be a while, but probably when this thing, all this stuff settles down, and he'll have this thing straightened out and stuff. Like I said, he's taking a little hiatus. He's a good dude. So. All
right. Good deal.
But yeah. And, other than that, what do you guys do? What are you guys doing now that everything's slowed down? What are you doing?
Oh, well, right now I run my own real estate business in the Texas area. Also do some online consultations with fitness. I'm a personal trainer.
Nice.
So I'm doing that virtually. So I'm basically doing those two things that keep me really, really busy.
I think I saw your picture. You're the one with the little bikini on, wasn't it? No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding you. I'm kidding you.
I love that. Awesome. Wait, where's that crowd? Is that again?
What?
Oh, no more cheering? Oh. There you go. Yay!
Oh, good times.
Awesome.
That was fucking funny. Yeah, I did want to share this with you about Dominic. Back in the good old days, there was an incident which, I never gave it too much stock until Sheik verified it. But Iron Sheik was doing a series with Paul DeMarco. And the very first night that they had their match, you know how Sheik is. He likes to go out there and try and take some liberties and test you out and see how much he can get. Well, he tried that a couple of times, and Paul just flipped off. And you know, Paul is an actual, like I would call Sheik a shooter, but DeMarco's a hooker. So he just snatched up Sheik and started beating the brakes off him. And Sheik tried to dive through the ropes to get away, and Paul got him by the foot. And Sheik pulled right out of his boot, and he hauled ass to the back. And he runs into Dominic and goes, "Oh, I don't know what to do. Paulie DeMarco are going to kill Sheiky." And he says, you better get the fuck out of here. And he did. He grabbed his bag, still wearing his gear, with one boot on, and boom, he headed for the hills. He was gone. DeMarco comes back holding Sheik's boot, and Dominic is dying laughing. He goes, "Man, you just taught that kid a real serious lesson. Good job." So the next day, Dominic runs up to Sheik at the next venue and goes, "Paul's here. Paul DeMarco just showed up. What are you gonna do?"
You better watch your fucking ass.
"Oh Jesus, what's Sheiky gonna do? What am I gonna do, Dominic? Just gotta tell Sheiky." And then Paul comes walking in and goes, "Hey, Sheik, you forgot your boot last night." "Oh, Paul, I'm so sorry." He's like, "Nope, you're good. Don't do that shit again." But the rest of the night, Dominic was fucking with Sheik. "Yeah, I know Paul said it was cool, but I don't think it's cool, man. I think you might be in trouble tonight."
I'm thinking he's going to kick your ass, you asshole.
Oh, God. That story has been popping in my head all night. I'm like, I got to find this spot to tell this story. That was
yeah.
I mean, he beat Sheik out of his boots. That's pretty impressive.
So we were up in Canada this one time, and we had like 4 shows in a row in Canada. And so we finished the show, and we had a choice of staying in this city or driving like 4 hours, you know, and we all decided, let's just go to the next place we could sleep in rather than having to get up early and leave, right?
Right.
So we stopped at this little convenience store, and Sheiky had his own car. Everyone else was like tripled up, you know, 4 people, whatever, and Sheik had his own car. And so we go in there, and he ends up buying this case of beer. And you know, the old
St. Pauli baby, St. Pauli baby.
Yeah, but the old the hard cartons, you know, with the flip tops and all that, you know that? Yeah. So he puts it on the front seat. He says, "Sheiky, go. You catch up. You catch up." We're like, "No, Sheik, just wait a minute. We're going to get some food." So, no, fuck you. Fuck you guys. You catch up. I am Sheik. You catch up. I'm like, okay, fine. So we're getting our stuff, and we're just putting along. And all of a sudden, we see these red and blue lights on the side of the road, and we start slowing down. And as we do, there's Sheik playing tug of war with one of these Royal Canadian Mounted Police with his beer. They're pulling it back and forth, and he's like, "Give me back my beer, you cocksucker! What do you think you are, Jesus? Give me back my beer, you mother! I'll fucking slap you, you son of a..." And then we're like, "Sheik, give him the beer. Just give him the beer." He goes, No, it's Sheiky's beer. Sheiky buy it. It's Sheiky need beer. And Sheiky need his gimmick. No. And pretty soon we're yelling, "Please, Sheik, just give it to him." 2 other police cars show up, and they start taking the sticks to him. They're hitting him. He's like, "Ouch, goddamn it. Ouch, goddamn. All right, take the goddamn beer. You can have it." And so, oh my God, we were crying and stuff. And then, you know, they ended up letting him go. They didn't arrest him, but they beat the hell out of him. Once they realized he was the Iron Sheik, they said, "Oh, okay, you all right?" He goes, Yes. I said, "Sheik, what did you think?" He says, "Well, at first, I was very happy because they let Sheiky go." He says, "Then, when I look in mirror, I'm very sad." He goes, "You see the bumps on my head? The bumps." I said, "The what?" He said, "The bumps." I said, "Oh, the bumps." He goes, "Yeah, whatever you fucking say."
They give Sticky Sheik time. They give him stick time. Oh, man. Sheik, he's great. We brought him in for an autograph signing, and this promoter in Los Angeles who used to use him knew that Sheik loved walnuts, and he had a walnut farm. So he sent his 2 sons from Los Angeles to Sacramento, a 9-hour drive, just to bring Sheik some walnuts and some walnut cookies. So they're like, "Oh man, we really want to get a room. Where's the cheapest one we can get?" And I was like, "Well, let me help you young brothers get a room. It's cool. You don't gotta go stay in a Roach Motel. It's all right. You can stay here in this hotel." He's like, "Oh no, these young brothers can stay right here and sleep on the floor." And that was about 8 beers later. Sheik's on his feet. "You motherfucking jabronis, come up into my hotel room and you don't show Sheiky respect. I fuck you in the ass and make you humble. You fucking little..."
Make you humble.
I finally said,
"You beat Brian Blair. Fuck him. I fuck him in the arm." Yeah.
I finally said, "Hey, Sheik, these young brothers drove 9 hours to bring you some fucking cookies, so why don't you calm the hell down?" "Oh, no, Sheik, you love these young brothers. You sleep right here on the floor." Oh, God. Boy, Sheik, you are 8 shades of psycho.
Well, they brought him into this one show. They brought him into this one show in Canton, Ohio, and I remember they said, "Preston." I said, "Yeah." They said, "Can you help us?" I said, "Why?" He said, "We got Sheik here, but he won't get out of the car unless he gets some medicine." Yep. I'm like, "Oh, Jesus."
Does he want green or white medicine?
Yeah, he wanted the white kind.
Yeah.
So I come out and I said, "Hey, Sheik, what's happening?" He goes, "Hey, Preston, my friend, what are you doing, you fucking asshole?" I said, "Hey, you're going to come in?" He goes, No, they need give Sheiky medicine. I'm not going to get out unless I get medicine." I said, "Sheik, they're not going to give you any medicine. I'm not get out." I said, "Listen, what if I have them get you some beer?" He says, "Beer?" I said, "Yeah, they can't get you no medicine, but they give you beer." "Okay, but I want 12-pack just for Sheiky." I said, "Okay."
Right.
He says, "I know I'm not going to get out until I see my beer." I said, "Come on, I promise you they will get you the beer." He says, "Okay, Preston, because you say I get out." And then he come in and start selling his gimmicks, and he was happy. He started drinking beer, and everything was fine.
Well, we are really coming up to, we're pretty overtime here, but
oh yeah,
I would like to share. I'm having a great time. I wish we could go for 3 hours, but podcast listeners don't hang on that long. But I do want to share one more Sheiky story. And this one blew me away. We the show in Reno, and I'm booked with Sheik that night, and Conan was there. Which I'm not a fan of Conan. I think he's just a. That being said, do the match, do the job. Sheik won't even put me in the camel clutch. He does the stupid pen gimmick. So, that's what took me out. And then he grabs the microphone. He goes, "I want to thank all my friends in Reno, Nevada, a great country in the United States. Sheiky stay in the La Quinta Inn, room 212. You bring Sheiky presents." And then he dropped the mic and walked out. But he really was staying in La Quinta 212. I was in 211. And Conan was right across the hall. Now, in Nevada at the time, marijuana was a felony. Any kind of possession was a felony. And a fan gave me a blunt. "Hey, great job. You and Sheik will probably have fun with this." It's like, "All right, cool. Thanks, brother." So we go back to the room, and me and Sheik and Conan are smoking on this thing. And I was like, why would you give out your actual room number? Are you crazy? "Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything. I'm the Sheik. You shut the fuck up, Robbie. Christ, you come up into Sheiky's room and you talk shit. Sheik, you're in my fucking room. I'll take you into my room and I fuck you in there." So we're just listening to Sheik go off.
Oh, God.
And basically, your guys' reaction was me and Conan's reaction. We're dying. Until we hear somebody's banging on the door. Immediately I go, "Fuck, that's the cops. That's the cops," because we're smoking weed in here, and I knew we shouldn't have done it. I look at the people, and no, it's these 3, young guys. So I crack the door open, they're like, "Oh, hey, yeah, dude, it's you. Wow, we're here to see Iron Sheik." I'm like, "Oh, my God." And I turn around, and Sheik is sitting on his bed with a towel spread across his lap, and a big shit-eating grin. "What you bring for Sheiky, baby? You put it right here." Oh, actually, we were just to see if we can get an autograph. And how, you want to come to get an autograph? Fuck you. Fuck you, you jabroni mark motherfuckers. I tell my friend Rob Wild and I tell my friend Conan that the goddamn Reno is the best party city and you want an autograph? Please, fuck you. I'll kick your fucking ass. And they're like, whoa, shit. And now they're pissed. And I'm stoned and paranoid. I'm like, fuck. I got to head these kids off. So I jam out to the hallway and I was like, whoa, hang on, brothers. Gave him a couple Wild Thing t-shirts, gave him a couple 8x10s. It's like, look, it was inappropriate for you to come here. So just go. Sorry that you ran into the dark side of Sheiky, but we all see it 20 times a day. Bye-bye. And I go back in. I'm like, Sheik, what the fuck is that? Fuck you, Robbie. They come here. They want to autograph. They disrespect Sheiky. They disrespect you, that fucking jabroni Conan. So we're settling down. I ran down and got a case of St. Pauli to, chill Sheiky out. And then maybe 20 minutes after I'm back, son of a bitch. And I go and I open the door and it's those same 3 kids. And I was like, what the fuck? And I look back and Sheik's on his bed, towel across his lap, big old shit-eating grin. What's you bring for Sheik? You put it right here. And they came over and dumped out this fanny sack loaded with drugs. I mean, they piled it on. Oh, love me, not Sheiky, love you guys. We do a picture together. I give you a t-shirt and you get the fuck out of here. But they did. They brought him weed. I think they brought him some mescaline. They brought him cocaine. They just loaded Sheik up. And he loaded them up with pictures and 8x10s. Boom, 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 boom. So later on, as the night goes on, I was like, look, Sheik, man, if somebody knocks on that door again, I ain't answering it. The rest of that's going to be on you. You do what the fuck you gonna do, and I'm gonna sit here and do what the fuck I'm gonna fuck you. And then he's having a tantrum, and he's got all of his cocaine poured out in the middle of the table, and he's having such a tantrum that he knocks his beer over on the table, and this beer is gushing towards the Coke, and she came down like a ninja. Bam! Slammed his arm between the beer and the Coke and pushed all the beer on the floor and saved his drugs. And that's why you know. Wow. That's why you know the Sheiky a champion. Sheiky is the original man. I'm the man. All those other jabronis can fuck. Okay, Sheik, dude, please stop doing coke. Just go to sleep. So that was the most intense Iron Sheik story I've ever had. That was wild. He actually almost got us jumped in Applebee's, going off about that Rocky Maivia fucking nig. I fucking killed that black son of a bitch. I'm like, whoa, we got to get out of here, dude.
Wow. Yeah.
But everybody was just looking over at the black guys, everybody, and they're like, dude, it's Iron Sheik. We understand. He's a psycho.
Wow.
Preston, I feel like we haven't even cracked past the tip of the iceberg with you and all your fun stories, so we are definitely going to have to come back and do this again.
Well, listen, I can't thank you guys enough because I had a blast. It was so much fun talking with you. I love listening to your stories as well. Great stories, a lot of fun, great imitations. I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. And I'll leave you with this: is when I retired last year, I always felt like, man, people are going to forget about me. No one's going to be interested, and I'm going to be like lost, but I've been very fortunate. They've asked me to I've been a judge at a pizza contest,
nice.
Done different things at fundraisers and stuff, and to be asked to be on your show and stuff is quite an honor. So guys, I really appreciate it. And I hope that you don't forget about me and bring me back again sometime because I have some more stories I'd love to share with you. It was a great show, and I wish you nothing but the best. And all your listeners, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed my stories. I sure enjoyed telling them to you, and I hope I get a chance to speak with you guys again.
We would love to have that.
Oh, yep. God,
thank you.
And to put it out there, next week on WrestleShoot, we have WWF icon Duke the Dumpster Droese joining us. And that'll be nice. I love Duke. Everybody who knows Duke loves him. The man is an icon. I just don't think he realizes it. So he'll be doing WrestleShoot with us. He'll be doing an episode of Smells Like Hope, going over his road that he dealt with on addiction and how well he's doing now and inspiring others to get well. And until then, Mr. Casanova, any brilliant words in closing?
I'm looking forward to it, for Duke coming on the show. And Preston, thank you again for coming on the show and telling your stories.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes. Until next time, boys and girls, all the wrestling fans in the world, we look forward to talking to you soon. Take it easy. And that's going to do her for another episode of WrestleShoot. From myself and Chris Casanova, take it easy, or take it however you can get it.